I don't know about you, but I love starting off my day with eggs, sausage, and toast. I just tried Jones Dairy Farm's all-natural breakfast sausage, and it is delicious. They make premium crafted, all-natural meat, and 100% of products are made in the USA. And y'all, they have so many options: pork, chicken, turkey, or center-cut Canadian bacon. So check out their product finder on jonesdairyfarm.com to find out where to find Jones near you. Just off the Texas coast sits a unique beach town marked with salty vibes and sun-soaked memories. Port Aransas is a place where family traditions unfold naturally, and beauty lies both in island views and the unhurried moments between adventures. One visit, and you'll see why generations of Texans have anchored their traditions to the island life. Start your new favorite family tradition in Port Aransas, Texas. Go to visitportaransas.com and plan your visit to Austin's beach. Today on CityCast Austin, it's the Friday News Roundup. I'm here with the CityCast Austin crew to talk about a few stories on our minds this week. We're getting into the city's use of automatic license plate readers, some complicated news about the King of the Hill reboot, and why the mayor of Taylor isn't endorsing this year's Pride Parade. It's Friday, June 6th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with the sublime Kelsey Bradshaw, our newsletter editor. Hey, Kelsey.
Hello.
And I am here with the majestic Eva Ruth Moravec, our executive producer. Listen.
I am majestic.
I am committed.
I'm a lion.
So we have a lot to get into today. The legislature is finally done. They wrapped up work this week, and now it's up to Governor Greg Abbott to decide the fate of hundreds of bills. He has until June 22nd to veto bills or sign them into law. And he can also just do absolutely nothing and let the bills become law without his signature, which for whatever reason in my head feels somehow like it should be illegal. But we've got our eyes on the consumable hemp products ban and a few other big items. And you're going to find more on what happened this session in our Hey Austin newsletter and future episodes. I feel like this time of year always makes me a little just like punchy because it's like city council is coming upon their break. Speaking of which, the city of Austin's automatic license plate reader program looks like it's coming to an end later this month. Council was set to reconsider the contract with Flock, but city manager T.C. Broadnex pulled the contract from the agenda after lots of pushback from community members and some members of city council. Eva Ruth, what is happening?
So the city had been testing out these cameras in a pilot program since 2023. They already have license plate readers in police vehicles, but these are separate, just 40 standalone camera situations. And they are equipped with AI technology, and so they can automatically read and track license plates and then also store them in databases. And that's kind of the thing that people are pretty irked about, is that your license plate information goes into a database that actually lots of different law enforcement agencies have access to, including ICE. U.S. Immigration and Customs has been using this system. ICE actually accesses the system through requests to local, state, and law enforcement agencies that have access to this Flock system, which is what Austin was a part of. The concern is, or could use this system to find people who are here illegally and kind of use them to crack down on immigration. And then there's also concern, a lot of this has come from reporting by an outlet called 404 Media, that license plate readers are also being used to track. There was one incident in which it was used to track a woman who self-administered an abortion. And so the concern is just like with all this data going into this system that all these law enforcement agencies have access to, are they going to be used for what? So they're going to let that expire, not renew the contract for now, and kind of figure out, I guess, what to do next.
Well, and like they found too that between 10 and 20% of license plate searches over a few months in the database, they didn't include a clear reason or case number. And that freaks me out. I don't know if this makes me... I don't know. This whole thing freaks me out. I don't like AI to begin with. I am anti-AI.
They're supposed to state a clear cause when they run somebody's license plate. But, I think that this audit showed that hadn't been happening all the time. And like our police chief, Lisa Davis, has said that, this technology has been helpful in finding criminals and like stopping things from happening.
Like a handful of examples is not good enough for you to have that kind of access and that kind of power with people's information. We're getting into some serious, dangerous territory, I think.
Well, like tracking a woman who's trying to have an abortion, that's
Handmaid's Tale.
That's the downfall of society right there. Like that's not okay.
And also, I just don't think that you can count on everybody using it for the correct purposes.
Right.
I just
exactly.
don't. I don't believe that everybody is going to be.
Oh no.
Follow the letter of the law. Yeah, it's going to get abused.
Like following their exes or
just like profiling people. I mean, you name it. it. I don't know. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Well, I have something dumb to say.
It's probably not dumb.
No. This is actually dumb.
Okay. I'll let you do it.
Go ahead.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like law enforcement, this is making their lives too easy or something. Like, I feel like if you're a cop, you should have to like do this yourself. Like if you're trying to find a criminal, you have to go find them, not a computer. I don't know why, but I'm just like, no, you have to do it.
Okay. I'm liking I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But like, that's so dumb. Like, of course, everyone wants their job to be easier. But there's something about like crime where I'm like, no, you have to catch them.
You have to put the string together.
Yeah,
we're not doing it for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, you know what? Our resources, our AI is doing enough use of our resources. Like that's one thing that we can stand to outsource to cops, I think.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other future topic as well. Like, the water, how many water bottles are used in every license plate search?
I would like to know.
We would like to know.
This just feels like one of those things where like we're going to look back on this in like 10 years and be like, well,
oops.
That's where it started.
That was the beginning.
That's how they got all our data.
Yeah.
Not that that's the only way.
Right. Of course, TSA has scans of my entire skeleton.
Sure.
Every time we travel, you can opt out of the facial recognition thing. You can opt out of that. I did not know you could opt out of that until I started dating Nicole. Every time we fly, she's like, I'd like to opt out of the facial recognition software. This wonderful, upstanding white woman who's a professor. It's like, I need to opt out. And I'm like, take my picture. Take it. Take my...
Is it good? Do you want to do it again?
You want me to... Should I turn to...
They have Nikki through the years. Like her school photos. They have one. They're like, yeah, this is her 10 years ago.
I'm just
when
like...
she was just a baby.
Just cheesing. No sense of discernment. Or maybe and she's been like, babe, you can opt out. I'm like, I don't know. They got everything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they have everything. They have everything.
Yeah, they really
but they do not need this.
Yeah, they're not getting this. I do that when I go through the toll road things where how it takes a picture of your face as you're driving through.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This is my line, but I always flip the visor down and like put my head up so it's underneath.
God, I love that.
Or like hidden by, because I'm like, they don't need to see my face every time I drive.
I love that.
Meanwhile, I'm just like giving the peace sign, the millennial peace sign with the duck lips.
I'm like, send me a bill. See you guys later. Can't wait to see my pic.
What do former President Lyndon B. Johnson and the movie Jaws, yes, that Jaws, have in common? A new exhibit at the LBJ Presidential Library. Before he wrote Jaws, Peter Benchley was President Johnson's speechwriter, and this temporary exhibit is all about Benchley's journey from the White House to best-selling novelist to ocean conservationist. Talk about a fascinating career. Don't miss this chance to learn all about Benchley and Johnson's environmental legacy, how Jaws changed our understanding of sharks, and much more. From the White House to the deep ocean, LBJ, Jaws, and Conservation will be at the LBJ Presidential Library from now through October 19th. Find out more about the exhibit at lbjlibrary.info/Jaws. I love going out to eat, but my budget does not always agree. The In-Kind app gives me 20% back in dining credit every time I dine out. Yeah, you heard that right. So that means every time I eat at a restaurant from the app, I get 20% credit for the next time. More money for dining out? Yeah, sign me up. Plus, the app helps me find new restaurants, bars, and cafes to try right here in Austin. And if you're traveling around the country, In-Kind has locations nationwide. Since you're a CityCast listener, we have an exclusive deal just for you. $25 off your bill of $50 or more at any location on the In-Kind app. To get your $25 off your next bill, go to inkind.vip/ATX. That's inkind.vip/ATX. So everybody is talking about the King of the Hill reboot. I mean, honestly, it's everywhere. I am ready for it. Everybody I know loves King of the Hill. So the reboot was announced last weekend at the ATX TV Festival, and the show is back for a 14th season, and the festival celebrated with a panel, but there's like a lot going on. Kelsey, why don't you bring us up to speed?
The event at ATX TV Fest was really, really cool and really fun. And like, I've only ever seen, I know this makes me a bad Texan, especially because like one of the creators is from where I grew up, but I've only ever seen a couple episodes of the show. And it really was so exciting to see the fanfare. Like there were people dressed up as Bobby, people dressed up as Hank. At one point, the panel moderator had to tell the audience to calm down because everyone was like shouting quotes out at the cast.
Yes.
Because they had Pamela Adlon there, who plays Bobby. They had Lauren Tom there. She plays Connie. They had Toby Huss, and he plays a lot of different characters, and he is going to be taking over the voice of Dale for part of the reboot. And then they had creators Greg Daniels and Mike Judge there, and the new showrunner. He was super cool and really, really funny. So it airs on August 4th on Hulu. There's going to be 10 episodes. And something really fun about it is that they're aging everyone. Like there was a big conversation because, you know, with cartoons, you can kind of just,
that. Yeah,
you can just kind of keep everybody the same age forever. But they decided to age up everybody, and Bobby is 21 now, and he's going to be working in Dallas as a sushi chef at a German sushi fusion restaurant.
Of course, because of course.
Right. And then,
I love that. I can see
that
it.
So fun.
Yes.
Like whenever they showed the new opening sequence, he had like stubble on his face, and the cheering was so loud. Like I couldn't even like it was so loud because everyone was so excited.
It really is like a genius way of showing what the news is, like bringing people up to speed without being like having to spell everything out.
Oh yeah.
You should watch the opening sequence because it gives you so much information without like, I don't know. It's really creative. I love it.
Yeah, like they show Hank and Peggy putting their house up for sale because they've moved to Saudi Arabia and have come back. They show the characters wearing masks and standing, 6 feet apart, which I think is fun. And Dale, of course, his mask is below his chin because he's like the conspiracy theorist of the show. And yeah, they had some of the characters, they had Pamela Adlon and Mike Judge do the voices of Bobby and Hank to promote the show. And it's always so crazy to me seeing human people talk when you've really only heard them as cartoons.
Yes.
Yeah.
She does a lot of voices for like across many, many things. And I always hear Bobby. Bobby.
Yeah. Always.
Well, or like at one point, someone in the crowd yelled, "That's my purse." And she shouted back, "And I don't know you," in the voice. And it was so crazy. Like, it's so crazy to hear them do that.
That's so fun. I love it. It's going to be really good to just like see all those characters back together again. Cause I think it's been a few years, but for a lot of people, I mean, I remember like they were like my buddies for a little bit when I was watching them grow up and change and everything. So
That is literally exactly what the actor Toby Huss said. He was like, yeah, I miss my little cartoon friends. Like, I need to come back to my little cartoon friends.
Like, how's Luann doing in cosmetology? I need to know.
Right. And, John Redcorn will be back as well. And I know that's like one of the fan favorite characters. And I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about what happened shortly after the panel with actor Jonathan Joss.
So was he involved in the panel at all?
No. So Jonathan Joss wasn't invited to speak on the panel, even though he is back in the new season as John Redcorn. I saw him outside kind of working the line before the panel started. He was saying hi to fans and taking pictures and stuff. And he was inside the theater. And at one point, he stood up. And you know how they put those mics in the aisles?
In the aisles, yeah.
Like the Q&A mics, yeah.
Yeah, the Q&A mics.
Yeah.
He went and stood up by one, and it was like a lot of whispering because they hadn't asked for audience questions. And he really just wanted to say something about Johnny Hardwick, who is one of the actors. He voiced Dale Gribble in the show, and he's from Austin, and he died 2 years ago. And they had started talking about Johnny, and Jonathan got up and was like, hey, you guys were talking about Johnny. I really just, he was a great guy, and none of this is verbatim. But he said some nice things about Johnny. And then everyone kind of thought he was like having an episode or something, that like he was distressed or that something was going on, because he started to say, he was like, my house burned down months ago because I'm gay, and everyone was just kind of like, what's happening? And like, the festival like was trying to, like, they were behind him, like waving their hands to the panel to kind of get Jonathan to wrap up, and like secure, like, you could see security on stage, and I didn't see them before they came out when he was speaking.
Right.
It was just weird.
Yeah. I had a couple of friends that were there that said the same. They couldn't tell what was going on. They just couldn't tell. It was like, oh, this person is also a part of this. They're not on stage, but they are in the audience, and they don't seem,
there's some friction.
There's some friction.
Yeah. Because at one point a volunteer came and told him to sit down, and then one of the creators was like, oh, and there's Jonathan Joss, the voice of John Redcorn. And he started speaking, and he was talking about, he was like, I was told to sit down, and he was kind of upset about that. And so like, that was people were talking about this on Reddit. People were like, is he okay? Like,
what's going on?
What's going on with Jonathan Joss? And so it was a bit of whiplash then to learn that he was killed on Sunday night. Joss lives in San Antonio. I think he grew up there, and him and his husband's name is Tristan. They went to visit their home on the south side of San Antonio, and that was Joss's childhood home that had burned down in January. And Joss's husband says that while they were there, a neighbor came and fired at the couple. Joss pushed his husband out of the way, and Tristan said, quote, he was murdered by someone who could not stand the sight of two men loving each other. I was with him when he passed. I told him how much he was loved.
That is wild.
Which is, it's really sad. It was like the first day of Pride Month.
That's really wild.
It's really scary. And the person who is accused of shooting him, his name is Sigfredo Alvarez Ceja. And he was arrested shortly after, and he's been charged with murder. And after Tristan's husband, he put out a statement on social media saying, like, this is because we were gay, essentially. SAPD, San Antonio Police Department, they've said they have no evidence of the shooting being a hate crime. They can't find any evidence of it being related to Joss's sexual orientation, but they're still looking into it.
They had been getting harassed. They had been getting harassed for a long time. And someone essentially threatened to burn their house down. And then the house
burned down.
So whenever they went to go, visit the site of where their home was, in the mailbox, there was a skull of a dog. It was like their dog's remains. And obviously this upset them, and they were very upset. And then like the neighbor came over, and I think that's why people have been calling it an argument, because like They're just kind of yelling back and forth maybe. And, the San Antonio Express News, they've been doing some really great reporting on this, and they've gone out there and talked to neighbors, and they've looked up how many times like police have been called out to the area. And it's been a lot. Like there have been many, many calls to the Jonathan Joss's house, and neighbors have said, yeah, Jonathan was always kind of outside yelling, and like, I don't know, it seems to be like it seems weird. It seems like a weird situation, and it seems tragic, and we shouldn't kill each other for being gay. And
it's hard to tell exactly what was going on, but I think like it's clear that there were disagreements, there was mistrust, there was a call for help, a cry out for help, and regardless of like, it also seems like he was probably going through some kind of mental situation. I don't know, like we can't diagnose him from far away, but like it's also just, I feel like this was a very public thing that a lot of people feel like they were kind of a part of, it feels very unresolved, and it's also just so awful for his husband, to know that Jonathan was sort of making some kind of outcry.
Also, I have been in a situation, unfortunately, where I have been harassed by my neighbors. And I'm not trying to trivialize this. I used to have a neighbor that would leave her trash on my door intentionally. She would leave like fish and like things.
That's not trivial.
Because she didn't like me. Like that.
Oh my gosh.
And we had literally like one interaction, and I had asked her, that's what it was. Her dog pooped right on my welcome mat. And I was like, oh, baby, a dog pooped on my welcome mat.
Oh my gosh.
I even cleaned it up. I was like, I cleaned it up. But from that point on, she did not like me, and we had problems. And that woman made my life hell until I left that apartment. And there were many times where I was just like outside of my apartment, like screaming and just being like, are you serious? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like not believing some of the things that she did, screaming into my phone, calling my parents, calling my sister, because I couldn't believe what was happening, calling the cops, trying to get someone to help. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm not saying that is what he was going through, but I do understand being driven to the point of just like, what can I do? Right. So if
desperation almost.
Yeah. So like if he was being harassed in the way that his husband is saying that they were being harassed, I can totally understand just standing in my yard being like, what now?
That's a good point.
It makes him standing up at this panel, that it makes a lot more sense, right? Like before this, it was kind of like, what? What do you mean your house burned down? Maybe I was too quick to judge. And like, now that I know more information, it's like, yeah, this is also all I would be talking about. Like I'm part of, I'm part of this reboot. First of all, I'm like a beloved character. Right. I wasn't invited, and I'm going through hell back at home. Like,
and nobody is paying attention to this. Like it's all just kind of getting, And on top of all that, it is Pride Month, and there are places that feel more LGBTQ friendly right now, regardless of what happens the rest of the year. And that's a whole other thing. But like at home, you should always feel like you can be yourself, and you can be safe, and you can,
Well, and I mean, it sucks that Joss isn't here to see this, but there has been a huge outpouring of love for him.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, I can't go anywhere without seeing or talking about Mr. Joss and, his former coworkers and people in his life and people who knew him. Local people are talking about how much they loved working with him and that he was the best. And a vigil is going to be held for him in San Antonio on Sunday at Crockett Park from 7 to 9 p.m., I'm interested to see how big of a crowd there's going to be. I feel like it'll be huge.
It's sad that it takes something like this for people to get their flowers, but I will say that, like, there's nothing like the Pride community, and they are going to show up for you when you need them. And speaking of Pride Month and Texas shenanigans, happy Pride to everybody except for new Mayor Dwayne Ariola for the shenanigree. For the shenanigree that he is doing in Taylor. Taylor's our neighbor about 35 miles northeast of Austin. So, like many other cities in the U.S., Taylor Pride holds a big event this month. This is their 5th year holding a music and arts festival. And every year, the city of Taylor has issued a proclamation recognizing the event until this year. The new mayor, Dwayne Ariola, said to CBS Austin that he made the decision to go out of his way to not support Pride and not recognize Pride because, quote, I believe we have other meaningful opportunities in June to come together, such as Juneteenth, a unifying observance begun in Texas and now national in scope that honors freedom and resilience. And to that, I say, suck my proverbial areola. You boob.
You boob.
First of all, there's enough for us all. Second of all, do not use Juneteenth as an excuse for your homophobia, bruh. Don't do that. You do not want this smoke. Don't do that. I hate when people do that.
Also, we can have more than one holiday.
Exactly. We don't need the gays. We got the blacks. What are you talking about?
He's like, no. Only one per month.
Only
Thank
one.
you so much. No, there will be no Father's Day this year.
None of that. Only
Definitely
Juneteenth.
not.
Nothing else.
Only Juneteenth. Maybe they're planning an enormous Taylor Juneteenth celebration.
You know what? I don't care.
It better be huge
It better
after
be
this quote.
huge. They better have
Beyonce there.
Listen, they better have an entire month of Juneteenth celebration, and I don't want to hear it. Even then, it's still not enough. It doesn't matter. Lord Jesus. This is not Taylor's first friction over Pride and its LGBTQIA plus residents. They also have a big annual Christmas parade, and a few years ago, they were mad. There were dueling parades after someone complained about drag queens in the Christmas parade the year before. Y'all, I cannot handle this.
It was ridiculous. I had to cover these dueling parades for the Washington Post in 2022, our year of 2022, just a few years ago. And they had dueling parades that started in the same parking lot, and one had the gays and the other had the pastors.
I cannot.
And the city at that time actually endorsed the fun one. And but they did one. And then 5 minutes later, the second parade came through the exact same route. It's like, does anybody even know/care?
Nobody.
Being homophobic is so embarrassing, dude.
It's so embarrassing.
My God, you had to have a second parade. Please,
you should be horrified. Your homophobia should horrify you. It should keep you up at night with cringe embarrassment in yourself. You sit down.
But this is, like you said, this is Texas, where we just passed this bill. Like one of the bills that came out of the legislature was identifying specifying that there are two genders,
right.
Oh my God, don't even get me started on that because we don't have enough time. I mean, you're so pressed about gay people. Meanwhile, we just chilling and trying to live, sashaying through the streets, fighting for equality. Leave us alone. Let us wear our sparkles and our just, oh my God, go away. Anyways, so Taylor, for all of our neighbors in Taylor, listen, definitely fight for your neighborhood for sure. But come on down the highway. Travis County, we just did our annual Pride flag raising to commemorate Pride Month. Austin has all kinds of things that you can come and do. And we will love you and accept you. And we will talk about what a boob your mayor is. Pun definitely intended. Technically, Austin celebrates Pride in August, but there are a lot of things going on in June for Pride Month. And speaking of that, let's just list off some of these events.
So these are included on my events calendar that I do in the newsletter. If you want to go to our website, there's always fun events on there, but there are a handful of Pride events happening this weekend. On Saturday at Meanwhile Brewing Company at 8 p.m., there's going to be a Pride kickoff party, and it's being called Brew Paul's Drag Show is going to be happening.
Yes, love it.
At Cheer Up Charlie's at 9 o'clock, there's going to be ATX Trans Pride, and that sounds really cool. And then on Sunday, you can bring the whole family over to the Umlauf Sculpture Garden and Museum for their Family Day of Pride, which sounds really fun. And then the Brutorium Brewery and Kitchen at noon, they're hosting a big gay drag brunch.
Yes, Frida Friday, ATX. Yes, shout out.
Plenty to do.
Okay, I'm going to go quick. Friday, all you gays, elder millennials, the early dance party with DJ Mel at 310 and ACL Live is from 7 to 11. You can get home in time to not be out in the witching hour. Music is going to feature music from 1996 to 2017. So y'all think about old Nasty's days when DJ Mel used to play on Mondays. Hip hop, dancehall, R&B, funk, disco. Tickets start at $15. Saturday, Little Gay Shop's Pride Party is at Distribution Hall, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., but this is going to include a drag story hour for kids with Bridget Bandit at 11:30. So bring your babies to get some drag story hour. It's going to be cute. Vendors, drinks, all that stuff, and it is free. Also, Queer Bomb this year is doing a picnic at the Capitol on Saturday morning from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's just going to be a cool, easy breezy picnic just so it could be showing our state capital that gays exist in the wild. Is supposed to be laid back. And then Saturday night, Nasty Beats at Coconut Club, 9 p.m. Our good sis, Era J, is going to be hosting. And they're going to do club anthems, hip hop, Latin beats with raw queer energy on the deck. And that is my list. Yeah.
Awesome.
I know.
Get it, y'all.
So, just be kind to each other, take care of each other. And with that, we are going to close out. But before we go, listen, we want y'all to do us a favor. We don't ask you for much.
It's true.
Other than to listen to us. But email us or leave us a voice message or DM us on the Instagrams and tell us what you love and or hate about Rainy Street. Because we want to get into a little conversation about Rainy Street. Tell us what you love. Tell us what you hate. Is it even on your radar? We want to hear that too. Let us know. And that is all of our Friday News Roundup. Eva Ruth, Kelsey, thank you so much for rounding up the week with me.
Thanks for having me.
So fun.
Happy Pride Month.
Gay.
Pew, pew, pew.
Gay. Boots and pants. Okay, here we go. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. Our executive producer is Eva Ruth Moravec. Our producer is Alyssa Castles. And I'm your host, Nikki Devon. Our Hey Austin newsletter editor is Kelsey Bradshaw. And music is by Nelson Valente Aguilar of Como Las Movies, with additional music by All the Kimonos and 8 Main, Bossa Band, Andy Ellison, and Tim James from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.